Welcome back everybody to yet another video on the channel. Today we're going to be talking about rich kids, okay? Spoilt rich kids. I think we've all come across some of these in our lifetime. Essentially, there's these people who have like absolutely no concept of money whatsoever. Their finances are kind of like their plaything, you know? It's like, hey, which car do I buy today? Is it the Ferrari or the Lambo? And honestly, it's pretty evident when someone is out of touch. Just the way they speak and everything about them is so obvious. And today we're going to talk about some of these instances. So I found this Reddit post which was asking, what is a dead giveaway that someone has come from money? And I was thinking about the time where I had this friend, right? And we always used to go to his house to play games and stuff, but I didn't really realize like how incredibly rich this guy was because we just used to play some PS4 or something like that, but this guy had like a maid who used to bring down coffee to like the playground and stuff. Anytime he could just snap his fingers and she would bring down anything, cook anything and bring it down. I was like, wait, what? And somehow throughout like the 5 years I knew this person, I never questioned it once. I was just like, oh yeah, this is a regular thing that happens. But now that I'm grown up, I'm like, well, this guy was just loaded, wasn't he? Also, not to mention, this guy's house was, like, absolutely insane. Penthouse and stuff, but I don't know, when you're a kid, you don't really think about that. You're just focusing on, okay, I'm gonna play this game of Uno, okay? So we're gonna look at some of the dead giveaways, right? When somebody says, why don't you just take a month or two off? Oh, the classic. Hey, dude, if you're feeling tired, why don't you just take a break? It's not like you're gonna lose money or anything. It's not like you need that money to pay rent or anything. Just take a break, bro, it's fine. Honestly, sometimes people in the comments don't get it as well, but they tell this stuff to YouTubers all the time, and sure, you can tell it to like the huge ones who can easily afford taking a break, but sometimes, like, you know, if you tell it to people with like a couple 100K, like, they can't really afford to take a break, because one, their channel's gonna die, and two, that they need the money from the videos they're producing, right? So when you say to them that, hey, just take a break, no, that's you're literally saying, hey, just quit your job, you know? This I do hate. Also, people who don't understand why you can't just do more school as a way to pass time. I had to take a few years off between undergrad and med school, and a bunch of people said, why don't you just stay and do your master's? That makes sense. Instead of making money to pay rent and put food on the table, I'll spend an extra 70K for a degree that'll be rendered completely useless by the one I'm actually trying to get. Yeah, honestly, you could go to like this one school or one college and there'll be people from all types of situations. Like there'll be a guy on the brink of poverty and there'll be like this multi-millionaire rich person, and the disconnect is just so strong that it's sometimes like genuinely frustrating. People just don't realize that, hey, I don't really have the choice to do something, so when it looks like I'm doing something stupid and not pursuing like further education, maybe I just don't have the choice to do it, you know? I used to live in New York City and knew a guy who came from huge money, who was a trust fund kid and worked in the fashion industry because he loved it. He had an apartment on Park Avenue, had a driver, etc. He was very nice, but clueless about struggle. Every time he'd hear me say something like, oh yay, another peanut butter sandwich, he'd just tilt his head and say, if you're hungry, why don't you just order delivery or something? He had no clue about things like having $20 to your name for the next 5 days. Okay, honestly, maybe you have to be a bit more transparent about your situation, because this guy just might assume like, oh, New York City, probably rich, you know? And I know obviously that's not the case, but if there's like no indication, you're just gonna be like, if you just say, oh yay, another peanut butter sandwich, how am I gonna know you're poor, right? That literally makes no sense. So I think you could give like a little bit of slack to this rich kid. I think if he just knows your situation, it would be more nicer. In college, I was the only kid in the dorm that kept ingredients and cooking utensils in my room. During finals week, a girl from a very wealthy, social gated community knocked on my door in about 3 in the morning to ask if I had anything to eat, since she was starving and it was too late to order anything. I handed her a pot, some pasta sauce, and whatnot. She held the pot in one hand and with the other pantomime putting the bag of pasta in the pot, she said, so the pasta just goes here and you cook it? I literally had to go downstairs with her and teach her to boil water. Edit, for the record, I'm female. This girl was not doing let me act helpless in front of this man so he'll think I'm adorable and have frick with me routine. You filthy animals. Well, again, in this case, okay, I'm sorry to like side with the rich kids or whatever, but honestly, like, some people, like, what if they're literally just, you know, taking food from the cafeteria, you know, the cheap college cafeteria, cafeteria. Sometimes the food options are actually really cheap and you don't need to order anything, so that's why they probably didn't learn how to make pasta. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know how to make pasta, I don't know how to make anything, but that's just because my mom makes everything for me. But honestly, I don't really see it as a problem, because if I lived alone, I would just look it up and make anything I want. Like, it's pretty simple. But yeah, anyways, you know, a bit of benefit of the doubt. Like, you can't expect people to just know everything about you, and it's like, oh, what if you don't know how to cook noodles? Are you just suddenly out of touch? Like, no, what if you just don't like noodles, you know? But then again, teach her to boil water. Okay, dude, alright. When my wife's friends who were like 6 were appalled that they had to carry their own luggage to their hotel room, oh no. Are you kidding me? You don't have people that do that for you? Wait a minute. Do you walk on your own? There's not like a servant to carry you, bruh? I was once with a group of coworkers and we saw a homeless person sleeping on the sidewalk, and this friend just goes and says, "It must be nice to not have nothing to worry about. Just chill and do whatever you want all day." No! I thought for sure he was joking. He wasn't joking. Yes, you guys don't understand. It must be so nice to be homeless. Man. Imagine that, just not a worry in the world. You know, I kind of feel like people have the same mindset with like animals and stuff. Like, I wish I was a bird, then I could just fly out into the world and have some fun. You don't realize that every single day is literally a struggle. Why do you think the birds are like fighting for like the little rice grains that you deposit on the floor? Because they don't get enough food, okay? Every day they have to search miles and miles for like some sort of food, okay? And it's not easy being an animal in the wild. We are like fully developed human beings, okay? We're lucky that we live in a society where food is so accessible, and you know, we've created this whole infrastructure for us, okay? It's not gonna be fun being a bird. Okay, you can fly, but what if you get sick? What are you gonna do? Go to the bird doctor, moron? It's just so stupid, man. I just don't get it. This might be a dead UK giveaway, but accent. Apparently you can just kind of tell by how they talk if they're rich or not, like the posh accent. A classmate who came from a wealthy background once demanded to know why my father would talk like that to her parents, like she was offended, that being a working class Scottish accent. When they're in shock that I grew up with 4 people and only 1 bathroom and shower. So you all shared 1 shower? Okay, this is like peak out of touch. You think there should be 4 showers for 4 people? Oh yeah, 1 shower per person, bro. To go one step further, they'll flip their lid if you describe how you, yourself, have fixed or updated a bathroom. Wait, you fixed the bathroom sink yourself? I just needed 1 wrench, but don't you have people for that? Like, you really did it yourself? You don't have people for that, bro? Wait a minute, you drive your own car? Don't you have like a person for, wait, you eat your own food? Don't you have like a person for that, bro? Honestly, I don't know about you guys, but I have a person to help me talk as well. This isn't my voice. I've actually hired a guy to talk like this, you know? Having known quite a number, I'd say hobbies, things like polo and jumping horses, racing cars, and flying especially, golf and other sports that take money to learn/play also to a certain extent. One person into multiple of these is a real giveaway. From a number of replies, it sounds like golf has either gotten more affordable or depends on the area. Yeah, that makes no sense. You can 100% learn golf if you want to. Also, I suppose most hobbies, even these, can be done by people who aren't wealthy if it's a priority in your life. Yeah, if you like golf, you're gonna pay for like golf equipment, you know? To me, that's more than a hobby, which implies being a casual pastime. Man, God, you're just grasping for straws here, dude. I'm like 50% mad at rich people and 50% mad at people who don't know what it means to be rich and are just like, oh, anything that I don't do is just rich. International students, when one of your floor mates in res just gives all of their clothes away at the end of the school year. Well, obviously this doesn't apply to all international. I am an international student, okay? I went to college on the West Coast and there were so many Asian students who came from insane wealth. Well, there's an equal amount who are probably just struggling and barely got there to like escape, I don't know, some third world country or something. Drag raced a Ferrari in my 95 Volvo station wagon and won at my college. It was at a red light and he didn't know we were racing. Reality, people who have come from and live with money all their lives will be weirdly cheap about some things and willing to spend money on other arbitrary things. This dude will drop $400 per person on a dinner with fancy food, wine, and tea. Oh, I hate these people. Oh god, if you spend money on dinner, just slap yourself. But when choosing his car, it's an old beater that he's had for 20 years. Well, maybe he just likes the car, you know? Not everybody loves fancy cars. He'll spend money to have me come visit because he knows I can't afford the airfare, but when I arrive, he'll drive the 1.5 hours to the airport to come get me, rather than spend an extra $100 to get me to the airport closer to his house. Yeah, I'm starting to get the picture. Well, some people aren't really as smartest with money. I've made an entire video about this. Like, people be saving money on their like $2 coffee, but then buy like the new iPhone the instant it comes out. It just makes no sense. Like, in their head, somehow it makes sense, and you just kind of go, oh yeah, you're doing a good job, bro. You're saving a lot of money. We'll legit spend cash on a taxi to get to a megabus, which has tables to do his work on, rather than just spend a bit more money on the luxury bus, leaving 1 block away from his office, which is enough legroom and space for his laptop. We'll go out to dinner, and he'll not only cover the cost of food, but also wine, and my transport to get there. But then, when it's time to book a round-trip flight from place A to place B, we'll search for the absolute cheapest fare possible, rather than use the most convenient airport. This kind of sounds like my mom, bro. If there's a product in the store, not buying it. If it's on sale but double the price, I'm buying it, I went to a really prestigious boarding school for the first 2 years of high school. Most shocking thing I witnessed was a boy in my freshman year spilling water on a pair of Gucci loafers he was wearing. So he goes to his dorm, throws them out, and puts on another pair. They were easily $500, and this kid was just dripping in money. As a poor kid, I was astonished by half the stuff I saw on a daily basis. Honestly, this is not astonishing at all if you just watch YouTube now. People be wasting so much money, it's just frustrating to watch, but you're just kind of like, oh, whatever, content, they're rich anyways, doesn't matter. I have a story like this. I went to a super prestigious boarding school for my second year of high school, and one of my roommates was a Korean girl who came from a very rich family. She had a fancy Samsung smartphone and one hell of a temper, and when things didn't go her way, she'd have a genuine tantrum and smash the phone against the wall. A day later, she'd be unwrapping a new one that came in the mail. This happened many times over. Well, I think she has another problem than just being rich. She's a temper tantrums, bro. You want to fly to Greece in a few weeks with some of my friends to go skydiving? Don't worry, I'll pay for the skydiving. That's not what I meant. Not only is the ticket not affordable, I couldn't eat or do anything the whole time and would lose my job for being gone on for short notice, and thus making me broke and unable to make rent. His family is insanely wealthy, and he married into more money. Honestly, if you say can't afford it, they're just gonna offer to pay, so you should literally say, I'm gonna lose my job if I go with you, so I'm not going. I feel like you give very less information and they kind of make them look like jackasses. Chances are, if he knew you're gonna lose your job, he's not gonna invite you. If he thinks you have free time and he's covering the cost, he'll be like, okay, there's no problem, right? Can't afford the ticket, guys. We'll take my private plane, of course. Wouldn't be able to buy food. My personal chef will do the cooking. Oh man, if you have a personal chef, you've made it. I have no money for other activities. On me, of course. I'd get fired. You can be my butler. I'd have to pay rent. Just bought your building. You're out of excuses, sir. Using the word summer as a verb. I know I'm poor because I need an example to understand this. We summered in Monaco last year. Oh, dude, I'm cringing into oblivion right now. Inviting you on an international trip. I'm from the US, and when you say you don't have money for it, they just say, ask your parents. Wait, you're telling me your parents aren't billionaires and just give you money all the time? They always act surprised when a person can't afford something or has the cheaper version. It's not callous either, and that's the dead giveaway. They clearly just cannot imagine such a reality. At least this is what I observed being the poor kid with rich friends. Mom was big on the company you keep motto. An example, my FIL agrees to help fix my trunk, spends the entire time talking about how cheap and crappy my car is, clearly zero awareness that it is the most expensive thing I had ever owned. Oh, that sucks, man. Imagine you have like your most prized possession and someone's like, oh, this is so garbage. Well, honestly, the most prized possession I have is probably my PC, to be honest. And technically, the max it goes is a couple $1,000s, so it's obviously going to be cheaper than like a car or anything, but I'm proud of it, okay? When my FIL sneered at my cheap plates and glasses, I told him with a straight face, that's what poor people eat off of. He sent us a $1,000 knife set for Christmas, I think just to shame the rest of my cutlery. Not that I'm not grateful, I take care of those babies. Well, maybe he's just sending you a new dinner set, I don't know. Edit, they were Japanese knives guys, 3 knives to be exact, and the logo's a Japanese character made for sushi, I think, but damn can they peel an apple. It would have been nicer if you didn't often complain about spending any kind of money on me at all, saying that I need to learn to pull my own weight. I wanted a book for Christmas that's $15. No one asked for him to drop $1,000 and then guilt trip me about it. A skewed sense of normal, like when there was a food stamp challenge a while ago, there were celebrities try to live off an average food stamp budget. One celebrity spent $29 on things like kale, cilantro, and 7 limes. When you're really on that tight of a budget, you aren't going to waste money on things like a lime a day and fresh herbs. You're going to try to buy cheap filling foods like bags of potatoes and mac and cheese. But even trying to put themselves in that same situation, their sense of what's normal is incredibly skewed. I mean, it's one banana, Michael. What could it cost? $10? You never actually set foot in a supermarket, have you? The classic rich kids out of touch, man. It's pretty funny to see, and especially when they make videos on the internet. I really want to see more of those. If you guys do have any videos you want me to react to, let me know. And yeah, that's about it. Smash the like button if you did enjoy. Subscribe if you're new. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.